Arguably, there isn't another name in the world of cars that generates as much excitement and passion as Ferrari. And when you mention that name, the immediate association is with Formula One and power and speed. And all that makes me wonder where the California T fits in. Sure, the first one arrived on the scene in the 1950s, so it is part of the company's history. But these days, isn't Ferrari more about cutting-edge technology and world-beating performance? Surely it's not about cruising and glamour and making cars that can do this. But at first glance, that's what the California T is. Compared to other Ferraris, it is a very pretty car, not as sculpted or as muscular. There are various elements like the rear diffuser and various scoops and air inlets that tell you that it is a sports car. But its general demeanor, especially with the roof down, is that it is a bit soft. Soft in a Ferrari sense, and seeing this car, as good looking as I think it is, I can understand why it has its detractors, the most famous being that Australian Mark Webber, who said some things about the California I just can't repeat here. I don't think that this is an unattractive car, but it certainly looks much more user-friendly than anything else out of Maranello. By their own admission, that's what Ferrari have tried to do with this car. This interior has been designed to be as ergonomic as possible for the drivers that want a sumptuously comfortable Grand Tourer. Those are not my words, those are straight out of the Ferrari press release. And I guess that means to see if they've got it right, we have to test this car in the suburbs. Which, to be honest, may not be all that bad. For a thoroughbred sports car maker with as proud a history as Ferrari has, they've managed to create an interior that is phenomenally comfortable. The electric seats may lack adjustable lumbar support, but they fit amazingly well. Sure, the cruise control may be a little weird to operate, but it's hardly enough to detract from the sense of occasion you get even in this, the most affordable of Ferraris. But there are realistic drawbacks. The rear seats, for example, which are rubbish, but in fairness not much less rubbish than competing GT cars. On the flip side though, the boot is surprisingly usable, and the tech doesn't have even the slightest hint of Italian electronic design about it. It actually works really well. And it's all brought together beautifully, with a mix of materials and textures, and a design that isn't scared to show off its maker's sports car heritage. There is another bit of that heritage sitting under the bonnet up front. 3.9-litre twin-turbo V8, 412 kilowatts, 755 newton meters, sending drive to the rear wheels through a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox. 0 to 100 time in this car, 3.6 seconds. Top speed, 316 kilometers an hour. And all that makes me wonder what the California detractors are complaining about. And it also makes me think that testing this car in the suburbs was a stupid idea. A quick exit from Joburg's midweek traffic hell was needed, and thanks to the power from the turbo V8, Quick is available by the boatload. The California might be aimed at those people who like top-down cruising, but for those who want more, there is the other side to this car's character. Since the previous generation California, a lot has been tightened up. The suspension hardware and software has been upgraded. The steering is now quicker, and although it can feel a little bit light, it is incredibly accurate. And all of that gives you a very good idea of what the chassis is doing beneath you. It may not be as entertaining as a 488, but the California T still delivers a lot of enjoyment. Not least of all because of Ferrari's wizardry in eliminating the turbo lag. Torque delivery is limited at lower revs, which lightens the turbo's workload. So instead of waiting for them to spool up and then chuck all the power at you in one shot, what you get is a steady, predictable stream of power all the way through the revs. Over a very short distance, that translates into impressive acceleration. given enough space, it means proper speed. Another piece of wizardry is how Ferrari have managed to make this turbo-powered car sound like a real Ferrari. But for all its carbon ceramic brakes and other F1-inspired technology, there is one particular thing in this car that is really impressive, and that's the dual-clutch gearbox. Up or down the gearbox, no matter what gear you're in, no matter what speed you're doing, it is utterly instant. It's what every automatic gearbox should aspire to be. I would tell you how fast the shift times are, but a better way to describe it would be this. Imagine calling out the number of the gear you're shifting into as you pull the panel. This thing will change as fast as you can say second, third, fourth. It can do it the other way as well. Fourth, third, second. Some people might bemoan the fact that it's not available with a manual gearbox, but what the dual clutch takes away in pure involvement, it makes up for with mind-blowing speed. So there we have it, a drop-top grand tourer that can deliver an entertaining drive and at the same time offer you a comfortable ride around town, although it's much more fun when you give it some space. It certainly swapped some trademark Ferrari aggression for curves and a look that I would imagine has an appeal to a wider market, not just those who want their sports cars packed with aerodynamics and attitude. As a result, I wasn't sure what to expect when I got behind the wheel of the Ferrari California T, and my initial reaction that it was, as the looks might suggest, a little soft. But I think subtle is a better word. Ferrari set out to create an everyday car with the California T, and they've done just that. It's not stupidly low, it doesn't have a spine-splintering drive, and generally speaking, it is incredibly easy to use. But beneath that layer of comfort and drop-top glamour is a true sports car. It makes the right noise, it has proper power, and it can deliver a genuinely entertaining drive. A brand new twin-turbo V8 powers the California T, and while it boasts 412 kilowatts and 755 newton meters, it's the completely linear power delivery that's really impressive, helped by the best dual-clutch gearbox we've ever driven. It's an undoubted technological achievement, but it's also a comfortable, well-equipped drop-top cruiser and strikes a brilliant balance between everyday glamour and true sports car fun.